All right, guys, today is Sunday, January 19th. It's 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. Just created the weekly report that's going to go in the Discord channel here. However, I want to do this quick update, quick market video on kind of my thoughts. A lot of this is going to be written in the report, but like to always just do a little video on the side of the report to talk through kind of what I'm thinking, what I'm looking at, and what I'm seeing in the markets ahead. So with that, let's take a look at our weekly setups. We've got 9 charts open up here, and I've also got my little sidebar for some notes. So let's go ahead and dive in. We'll go line by line here. So first is live cattle. Cattle has been crowded to the long side by speculators. This thing's been set up for a while for us to go short, but we've only seen this thing make new highs, so it's going to be hard for us to find a position to go short here. We're going to keep watching the charts, but right now this looks pretty bullish, and there's not really any opportunity for us to go short. Again, we'll keep an eye out on this chart, but I don't see too much of an indication here for us to get in on a position just yet. Silver, we're on 2 positions here. We've got one from a momentum standpoint. We've got another from the commitment of trader standpoint. And it does look like it's testing some resistance here and attempting a breakout. We actually could probably create, I'm seeing kind of an ascending triangle pattern or an asymmetrical triangle pattern on most of the precious metals. Silver, gold, copper are the ones that I'm going to highlight. Very similar pattern if you look at silver here. If you look at gold, if we zoom in here, there's this pattern in a similar formation. Gold's actually broken out of it. And then if you look at copper, we've actually got a similar one as well. We've got kind of this triangular pattern that's formed, and we're testing the upside of it. Russell, I am currently getting an indication to go long. However, we need to wait for the opportunity to go long. There's been a pretty decent sell-off from the Russell and now a bit of a rebound. From the look back period that we look at with the commitment of trader data, this is showing speculators crowded short and the commercials going long. We focus on the commercials when it comes to the Russell. We are looking to go long there. Copper, we're still in on. Gold was a mistrade that has currently ripped to the upside and has flagged a momentum buy. Cotton's kind of trading in this lower range here, but every time I've highlighted in the report, and I've also highlighted in previous videos, when this thing breaks below 67.50, this thing usually bounces right back up here, and we've seen that happen time and time again. So we are in on a small position here to go long. The Aussie dollar, we're at a this is very bearish, but we are looking for an opportunity to go long here. British pound, same thing. And then palladium is just one that we have been watching. I probably will take this off and even just swap it out probably for platinum here to keep an eye out on. And actually, you know what? We might even put the euro in instead because the euro is another setup here. So if you look on the side here, we've got the pound set up. We've got the Aussie dollar, the Russell, the euro, and cattle. So we're going to actually pop the euro in here. And we're going to throw our chart or our study for the COT setup. Euro's been really beaten up here. Where's the bottom for these currencies? US dollar has been ripping, right? US dollar tagged a new high or swing high last week. And then we've got the euro, the pound, the Aussie dollar, the New Zealand dollar. Everything's just been getting crushed here. So we're going to watch this resistance line, see if we can break through that. This price has been very bearish, but, I am seeing there's a bit of momentum. We are catching kind of a turn in the market. I'm seeing similar for the Aussie dollar as well. I don't know if the bottom's necessarily in yet, but it's something that we're going to keep watching out for. I'm going to go ahead and save this weekly chart setup. And then close positions for setup is coffee. We're looking at for a short, which we're going to go ahead and throw on our sidebar here. This thing's ripped higher and had multiple waves up. And now the speculators have gotten too crowded on the long side. And the opposite for sugar, actually. It's been getting crushed to the downside. Sugar is actually pretty interesting. If we look at the daily, yeah, this thing's getting back to these swing lows. So that could be an interesting buy opportunity if we start getting below $18. Because very similar to cotton here, when this thing gets to a certain price range, it really bounces off and heads a lot higher. So we're watching sugar as it's getting close. Cotton, we're in that half position. We're in on copper, we're in on silver, and we're going to watch platinum here, again, probably on the sidebar. just to see if there's more swing low opportunities. We'll go ahead and set some alerts to track these as well, just to see when there might be an opportunity for us to get in here to go long or short. So I'm going to go set up a couple of alerts, and that'll keep us notified. Yeah, these currencies have just been really beaten up here. So we're in on a good couple of positions here. I'm not looking to get too crazy. We've got the inauguration tomorrow. We are going to see how the market reacts. And I did note in the report this week that I did sense a shift in sentiment. So last week's report, I talked about how we were seeing inflation ticking up and it seemed like we were going to get deeper corrective wave. And I'm going to go ahead and jump over here to my stock indice charts, the S&P, the Nasdaq, the Russell, the Dow, and I was highlighting like inflation data is ticking up. This is looking pretty bearish. And then later in the week, it seemed like all of a sudden the Trump inauguration coming up and inflation data was cooling a little bit. All of a sudden we start to see that the market's up 2% on a day, and we're basically getting really close to these highs again. So I think the corrective wave may actually be over. We may have put in that bottom at like a 7% correction on the S&P and on the Nasdaq, and we may be about to go test new highs. It's not going to, maybe happen this week, but I don't know if we're going to head much lower from here. And this is why my bias is always to go long on the stock market, because it just naturally has a drift upward. So you don't want to get caught going short and you get a tiny little move down and you expect there to be a lot further of a correction, and then it just heads higher and breaks all-time highs. You want to find yourself going on the long side of those trades, and that's what we're seeing for the Russell. We're seeing an opportunity there to go long, so we may end up doing that. But yeah, that kind of highlights my thoughts right now. I do want to be a little bit hesitant when it comes to stacking in the currencies. I think it's very easy to, try to find the turn before it's actually there. And if you just look at these charts and take like a really outside perspective, these are bearish charts. And until proven otherwise, we should not be getting long. We need a real true core reason to be getting long in any of these currencies. We need a news failure, or we need like a very clear break of resistance. We need a clear reversal and some sort of momentum and some sort of news shift in order for us to be getting long. Where my bias is going to be held, I am a little bit concerned about the silver and copper positions and gold. I'm not in gold, so I don't really have to worry about that right now. But copper and silver have had a bit of a corrective move, and I'm in on both positions. We're bouncing off resistance. And I think if the market really starts to head higher here, I guess it depends on the reason why. So if the market is bullish because, we're going to have deregulation and no red tape and things are just going to head higher, then I do see an opportunity for silver and copper to take off here. And copper, especially if we kind of strengthen those China trade relations, I can see copper heading higher. But if for any other reason we're seeing kind of a pullback in the metals because people are liquidating and putting money into the S&P, for instance, I can see silver really tanking and hitting our stop, and I can also see copper starting to reverse here too. So I'm not too sure. I'm going to hold the positions until my systems get me out one way or another. But we were in some good profit up until maybe Thursday of last week, and now we're only, we're up maybe half of what we were going into Wednesday of last week. So we had some profits kind of pulled off the table here from a little bit of these reversals, these red candles here, this top tick, and then this red candle. Copper not as bad as silver. Silver's had a couple of bad bars here, some red bars moving us down. My bias is to get in on the Russell here, but I need to find a way or a reason to. And other than that, I think we're just going to hold our positions and then we're just going to watch how the data plays out. So hopefully that's helpful. Thanks for listening, and we will talk again during the week. Thanks a lot.